grateful for you being here tonight.
Of course.
So I think, I see Assistant City Manager popped on. I don't know if she has received any public comment for this evening. We are in the middle of our study session, but
So I do apologize. I didn't log on, but I have been monitoring the email because I was actually doing some other work, and we have not received any public comments prior to the meeting or during the meeting. So I apologize for that.
no, you're all good. It was good timing. It was perfect timing, actually.
And that is, Leslie, that's the only way we can get public comment, correct?
Yes, that's right. So for our board and commission meetings, we just stream it via YouTube, and you guys are live on YouTube. But we accept public comments only in writing. Our city council meeting and our planning commissions, because they are public hearings, there's the requirement that you have to have instantaneous ability to comment on the conversation that's happening. So that's only for public hearings. So yeah, but
Perfect. Thank you. So with that, is there any more specific direction before we go around and have a few more thoughts that you need from the commission, Brian, Chief Dempsey? Any more information or?
No, I've been writing everything down, and then Roxanne, if you wouldn't mind sending that information to me. We've been in contact by email. I will share it with the commission as well as use it for the website that we're developing.
Great. I'll start working on that right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do see Vice Chair Schofield, you had to.
Yeah, thank you. There was other things that came to mind listening to both yourself, Chair, and Ms. Wilson. I'm wondering if we could currently add locations for flu shots. You're talking about for health resources, locations for flu shots, COVID testing, if that's okay to do. And then with Ms. Wilson talking under the category of housing, if we put unhoused students or students at risk for being unhoused, a category under that related to students specifically as an idea, and maybe for migrant families, resources, possibly. So. And maybe future planning in the works, like if there's anything that's literally that we know seriously in the works, not maybe in the works, but really in the works, maybe we could have a category for that too, as an idea.
Okay. Got it.
Perfect. Are there any other thoughts or comments on this topic?
This is Linda. Maybe for in the works would be the safe parking at the church. I'm not sure where things are at with that, but I'm hoping that's in the works, really in the works.
Leslie, do you have any update on that? I haven't heard recently.
yeah, so we do have one active permitted safe parking program that's happening at Bethel Baptist Church. That one does actually, they do have the parking overnight there. He also has reached out to the city and the city council gave a donation of $12,000 to also create a wash house there as well. So they purchased washers and dryers so that they could, the people that were overnight there and getting services there, and also the people that are experiencing homelessness that are coming in and using their food distributions that they do 3 days a week. They can also have sanitation and clothing laundering. And I think that's, it's been a good wraparound service at that location. It's my understanding there's 3 other informal safe parking programs at churches. I haven't been able to confirm that, but that's what I've been told from some of the local pastors.
Great update. Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Thank you. Any other going once, going twice? We can always, I imagine, email Brian
Yes.
with some thoughts. And I think you had requested that if we do have some things that we've come up with to send them your way anyways.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Real quick before we move too much further on the minutes, Jessica, do you have the ability to print those out and sign it and either scan or get it over to City Hall? Or myself, because I have to sign it as well?
Yes, yeah, I can drop it off or, and I leave it for you in your box or whatever.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
I just didn't want to forget that.
Okay, well, I think that kind of wraps up our meeting. I think at this point, since we haven't met in 3 months, would everybody okay with sort of just letting us know what you've been up to? Any reports or yeah. Huh?
I'll go if nobody, unless somebody else wants to speak before me, which I'm fine with. I'm just continuing to get out in the community on a regular basis every month. And it's not on any given day, but I load up my car with different resources for people that are in need. Anything from food to clothing to masks to hand sanitizer. Usually just things I buy on my own, but I also go to some of the different, when I remember where they are, to the different food resources, load up my car, and I just go drive. I know where some of the people that are unhoused tend to be, some of their names, and also just pull on the side of the road when I see somebody and say, hey, do you need such and such? Open up the back of my car and people come up and, safely, I have masks. So, give out what I have and what I can give. And so if anybody ever wants to reach out to me about that and add anything to the back of my car or go with me in a separate car, I invite you. So.
This is Linda. I volunteered for the first time ever to be a poll worker. I've never done that before. And in case you are going to choose to vote in person, because everyone was sent a mail-in ballot, if you want to vote in person, you need to take your mail-in ballot and the envelope with you and surrender it in order to get an in-person ballot. Otherwise, you will have to vote a provisional ballot, which is a pain in the neck for everybody, including yourself, because there's extra envelope you have to fill out. This information doesn't seem to be widely available. And since I was shocked and thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, who's going to know they're supposed to bring their ballot they were mailed? I'm trying to get the word out on that. And the other thing I learned, because I asked about it when I volunteered, is that people who are unhoused can register to vote. They can vote. You put your your main cross streets, your relative, that's kind of your hangout. And I don't know if that's something we should add to the website so that people who are unhoused don't feel, so they know that they have a voice in our public affairs and that they can vote. Because if you lose your house, you technically moved, right? And you need to re-register. Let's hope there's not too much of that, but anyhow, that was it.
Thank you. Jump in, Miss Milton.
So, Miss Cunningham, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that information. I actually, I will make sure that information starts going out on our social media right now. The fact I had that question, I was assuming the process for voting in public. I didn't know that you had to surrender your ballot. So this is really helpful information. People are bringing their ballots to City Hall. And they also, a couple of people are coming thinking the early voting is at City Hall, but the early voting, if you want to vote right now, is at Embassy Suites, just for anyone else wants to know. But I will make sure it goes on our website tomorrow and starts going out on social media for the next couple weeks for everything you mentioned. And then just so all of you know, and if you want to share it, we did just install a 24-hour ballot drop box for at City Hall in the parking lot. So 24 hours a day, all the way through, and it'll be there permanently. So it's a new permanent fixture so we can make sure everyone has the ability to vote. Thanks.
Leslie, I saw that today, and you can go out to the Monterey County website and they've got a really clear, succinct section about, needing to surrender your mail-in ballot to get a ballot to vote. Of course, if you vote on that mail-in ballot, you just take that and drop that off. But if you want to do in person, make sure you bring that. And thank you for putting it out, because really I called the governor's office and said, you guys need to get the word out, because it's just, people are going to get grouchy. They're already in line at the poll. Oh, I can go home and get this ballot and come back, get back in line. It just sounded like a nightmare. And I just didn't seem like enough, advertising on that technical challenge is going out. And I'm grateful the city will do that. And your ballot box looks really cool. I saw it today. You got a beautiful flag by it. It's really nice. And the solar is looking fabulous.
It's such a great day right now. Yes.
Commissioner Mancini, any comments? Commissioner comments? I'll come back to you in case there's a technical glitch. Commissioner Strickland, any updates? I know you're just joining us for the first meeting, but typically at this time we like to share some of our participation or other things that are going on.
Yeah, so I like the idea of registering homeless individuals to vote. I've actually helped someone do that who was in a homeless situation before, and for residence address, you describe where it is, like the cross streets, since there's no actual physical address. And if they happen to have a PO box, or if they have a relative or friend that has a residence, they can actually get their ballot mailed there. Unfortunately, I think the register to vote deadline was this Monday. So if anybody wanted to register to vote, I think they can still register to vote, but I think all they would get is a provisional ballot. So those were just a couple thoughts I had. The other thing, I mean, because I don't know, I had mentioned, like, I'm here to learn, so I just want to know more. Can someone tell me about how big of a homeless population we have in the city of Seaside?
I don't have that directly off the top of my head, but I know that it has increased since the point in time count for Seaside specifically, since previous years. I don't know if Ms. Wilson actually would know that answer.
So we have not, so the coalition is also in charge of coordinating the point in time count. It is obvious that homelessness has increased kind of across the board, but sorry, my baby's here. And then also, but I will say that in the last week of January, we're going to do another point in time count. So we are asking jurisdictions to help because it is really complicated with COVID. Historically, we would just get a whole bunch of people together and they would jump in each other's cars and we would get people with lived experience to help. But obviously that is like literally impossible in the pandemic. So we can talk more about the point in time count. But to answer your question, on our website is the 2019 point in time count, and I could pull that up for you. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I thank you for putting it in the chat. I did pull it up really quickly, and it looks like in 2019, Seaside had 182, and the prior year was 98. So there was an 86% change in our area and in Seaside. And that is a really great document that Ms. Wilson will put up. We spent a couple of meetings, I think, kind of going through it back at the beginning of the year. And it's probably a good plan to do that once it comes out again next year. Because that really gives us a feel for the changes in our city and county.
That could go on the website.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being with us tonight and all the hard work. And It's I do miss seeing everyone monthly, but I think we're on every couple of 3 months. Chief, is that correct? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, January will be the next meeting. January 28th will be the next meeting. And so I got a little report from staff. This will be my last meeting. I'm retiring at the end of December. So you will get the next liaison will be the next fire chief. And I'm excited, and I think that and convinced that we're going to get a really good person to fill this role. There were lots of applications, which really makes me excited that we have a lot of talent to choose from. So by that time, and barring any issues, the next fire chief should be installed. So you're going to have to help that person along a bit.
I knew you were retiring, but to hear that you won't be actually at our next meeting is makes it real. And I am very grateful for the service that you've done for both the city of Seaside and for this commission. And I think
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
think our
I'm very
commission-
happy to do it.
Thank you. You built this commission, so we will carry on with the new chief.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less.
Chief Dempsey, and I'm going to call you that right now because right now you're still Chief Dempsey. Yeah, I want to second that as well because I've really appreciated knowing you and working with you in this voluntary work in this capacity, and I'm very grateful when I hear the sirens. I think of you actually and how that kind of work, and I'm so impressed and grateful for your service. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you.
Enjoyed working with all you guys as well, for sure.
Thank you. And I do see Commissioner Mancini. Did you want to share any commissioner comments before we close down for the evening? Oh, she might have internet connection.
I think she muted when maybe she was on. You need to maybe, there you go. There
I'm
you go.
muted and okay. Having you keep going in and out. Half of this conversations I have lost completely, and I don't know whether it's me. Tom said it's not me, it's the computer. So
Yeah,
I don't know. But I've got the majority of everything you said. Oh, haven't. It's good to see you all there.
we got the important stuff. You shared your ideas.
I mute.
Oh, we may have lost Miss Mancini again.
Okay.
Well, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn for the evening.
If I
Motion to
may,
adjourn.
I'm sorry. I
Sure.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
The chat function is actually off on the
Oh.
Zoom, so I'm gonna send it to Chief Dempsey so it can be shared with the rest of you. And also really quick, Housing Authority has a very short window in which they're accepting Section 8 applications. So I'll include a flyer so you guys can blast it out on your social media as well.
Okay.
Oh, that would be fabulous. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for taking your evening with your family and being with us here tonight. That we're very, I'm very grateful for that. So
My pleasure.
right.
Thank you.
thank you. And I think that does it.
You need a motion? I didn't.
Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
I can second. I'll second.
All right, and I'm going to assume if nobody has any objections, everybody is in favor. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good
All
night,
right,
guys.
I'll get this information out as soon as I can.
Thank you, Chief.